no ongoing will save associated with this one because Rafik won't let you touch the crown to get access to the jewel. Probably for the best. Will save associated with this one.
Now,
Does anyone care if I spend a little money for the backfire mantle so that I am not dying every time a bomb is thrown on me?
I'm perfectly alright with it because I would feel bad.
I mean, I hear being exploded builds character.
I hear that as well.
Now, another question. Is a keg of black powder a higher level version of a dose or round of black powder?
I don't think so.
Sure.
No, it actually is. What the fuck?
Contains 5,000 doses of black powder.
Oh,
What's the level of those then?
It's level 6.
6.
Huh.
That is weird, but it's not too strong, honestly.
Just let us know when you're done leveling up.
It will take a bit. I am incredibly sorry. I will roll for the thingamabob money. Where is it?
We did research as well, so you can choose to do research or make money.
I think money is the quicker option right now because I want to get you going. We're doing things at level 6, and how much time?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's 14 days. And not acrobatics. Crafting is probably a good option for me. Probably the best. Yep. And Alchemist. Can I use the Alchemist goggles for that? Is that just for attacks? No, general to crafting. Wonderful. Okay. I'll just add this to the stash. And retreat into my cave for checking all the formulas of level 6 for if I have them. Apart from that, I am mostly done. I have done a little bit of little bit for healing, a little bit for violence, and a little bit for hindering.
okay. So that crafting check, that's for your 2 weeks of downtime?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Just make
Yeah. It came with the macro, I think.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Include the music. No, I did not. Darn. We will. So, if we are all ready to go,
I am ready.
Yes.
Let's go.
Because Sione the Ritualist will make us all rich.
Not until Enterprising Ritualist at 14.
So last time, we finished up chapter 1 with the destruction of the Guardian at the Bones, the discovery of a secret cache that it was guarding, including some kind of gate stone that you are currently doing research. Made it back to the city where rumors of strange outbreak and illness among people has started.
It seems to be affecting one of us already.
You have taken the last 2 weeks to um to check in at the lodge, check in with archaeologist friend. You've split up across, not necessarily across the city. You've just been pretty much confined to the old district and the old city and the canal district, and each of you has come away with some uh, valuable information. Discovered, among other things, that there is a ritual associated with the artifact that you found. The crown specifically, still working through the nature of that ritual and the curse that it imparted on Shaik. Um, on the more domestic front, Buyi has been uh, performing at the markets in conjunction with a local merchant, and Buyi discovered that um, there is definitely something unusual going on with the cat. Uh, there is a rumor going around that there are like large numbers of cats just gathering in places. So, unless I missed anything, that will bring us to week 3. Before we begin, let's. I'm gonna need a Jim. Can you roll me a D20?
I heard roll a D and then you cut off.
Whoops. Roll me a D20, please.
For Jim, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I need to roll what?
D20.
I got a 6.
All right. So as this week begins, and you all go out to do whatever respective tasks you are doing for this week, you start to notice that the city guard and local merchants have started putting up notices about the about feral cats in the area, to approach them with caution, that there is a chance that they could be carrying something, that it's currently being investigated. Just kind of a general advisory, but you notice it all over. With that, we can begin the downtime. Start with Shaik.
Of course.
So for the last 2 weeks, Shaik has been spending some quality time at the university with Rafiq. What is he doing this?
I am going to join Sione in the library to figure out what the frick is going on.
Okay. Um, we can roll right into Sione then, and the two of you uh
I need Jim
are
to
at.
come with me as well because of the cult thing that I know nothing about.
All right, so that's three of you together. Is Nassim doing anything different?
Um, I think Nassim would have, with all the notices about feral cats, would have an interest about that just for health and safety reasons.
Mhm.
So he might want to look into that if the others tell him he's not needed with the other project.
Not unless you know
Okay.
anything about religion.
Yep.
I can make you a goddamn good drink, probably, but that's my limit. I have hallucinogenics if you need them. Maybe you'll see God.
No, these checks take place over a week. A potion would only affect us for an hour.
Yeah.
If your potion had the exploration tag on it, then we could use
No,
it.
that not at all.
All right, so let us let's move to the library. You, the three of you, make your way to Grand Library of Sothis. Sione has already secured access to the restricted section, so that is not an issue. What are we researching?
Need to find out about that cult. I think you had said it was Lamashin, and they're related to not the ritual itself, but the Serpent King and what's happening.
Yes, Lamashtu. If you or somebody would like to give me
I have religion.
okay, give me a C18 You have no idea who this.
Okay, well, I tried.
I mean, well, common knowledge you would probably have. You know that Lamashtu is referred to as the mother of monsters, but outside of just like the name, nothing immediate comes.
Okay.
Um, that wasn't the role for the week, by the way. That was
Oh, okay.
immediate information. You didn't just waste a roll. You're fine.
I'll ask
So
Jim if he knows. Anything about Lamashins and the teaching of Ra? Was she even around back then?
Yeah.
Well, do
oh, he rolled.
recall knowledge roll. What does not Jim know?
Um, Jim knows exactly who Lamashtu is. She's not as old as the ancient gods of Osirian. She's definitely more recent in comparison. But it
She's some
was
upstart monster.
well, upstart monster is a good way to put it. Uh, you know that it was the cult of Lamash that was responsible for a plague in a city further to the west that wiped out a, a good third of their population, called the plague of madness. It's a cult that's very popular with uh, were creatures, all kinds of other sentient monsters.
That mean the warlord himself was a sentient monster, or does that just mean that he was related to these people somehow?
Unclear.
Okay. Well, I am going to attempt once again to examine this information and see if I can piece together a ritual.
Okay.
Or perhaps...
Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, go ahead and give me that blind... What are you rolling?
Arcana.
Okay. Okay, so that is a failure unless you would like to hear.
I shall hero point that. Critical failure. The research track goes backwards.
Hell yeah.
The library is suddenly on fire. So you spend the week going over whatever you can find on this, and you come away with, you don't get the nature of who or what Zahak was from this ritual, but you can piece together that it was derived after whatever happened to him happened, because this is designed to channel his essence into a living vessel.
Oh, that's not good. By channeling his essence into a living vessel, is he a divine being then?
Also unclear.
Okay. So
What you do get is that it derives a lot from rituals that are designed to speak to the dead, but it's modified in a way that gives that essence a more tangible form to actually do things that it probably shouldn't be doing in the material world.
Ah, yes, as a Pharasman, this interests me greatly.
Now, if someone were to put on a garb of this person, would the connection make it easier for them to take over that body?
Oh, absolutely, yes. When you put on the dead's things, it calls them back. They recognize their possessions.
Well, shit.
Sheik is now afraid that he might end up as a living vessel.
You also got that there are certain components of this ritual that you have seen before.
Ah, okay. So
you,
silver string?
Nope. The crown and the jewel, however. Yes.
Huh. All right. As I'm sharing this to both of you, what are the chances that this person is either dead or a divine being or a monster or all three?
Well, based on your research, I would assume that the things we found in the tomb may have been an anchor for him to find his way back. Putting together the crown again might just be what he wants us to do.
I'm afraid that's all I can do this week.
So, how are Jim and Shaik supplementing the library excursion?
Well, I listen intently about all the bad decisions I've made in the past. How it probably wasn't a good idea to put on the crown. Having spent the previous 2 weeks with our patron here doing research, I think this week in the library, I would like to do a bit more research on Zahak, who he might have been. Now that we
Yes.
have more information on a connection with Lamash too and stuff.
All right. Give me a blind society or a cult.
Yeah, those are both -1, Chief.
Oof. Well,
Not religion?
oh no, religion works.
Okay.
Okay. The information that you find on Zahak in that week, you're probably looking through regular the regular stacks and the restricted section. You come away with some information about Zahak's early life. Um, uh, the text is very vague about his warlordship, but his early life seems to be almost mundane in comparison. Um, he was the youngest of 7 siblings in a territory that existed not far from where Sothis is now, further out to the east. Um, there was an incident where his entire family, brothers and his parents, were mysteriously poisoned, leaving a young 14-year-old Zahak in power. His story just seems to escalate from there. And in less than 10 years, he was already starting to make moves across the desert on other territories.
Okay.
Where the religion check comes in is that you find out that part of his army, only part of his army was human.
Were they monsters or were they undead?
They were monsters. They were, uh, I can't pronounce this, try, but it's like the scorpion people. Um,
Hmm.
uh, all kinds of were creatures, every manner of monster that you can probably think of probably would have been in his army. No
Okay.
undead though.
Like, that's...
So he probably was a follower of Lamash too. That's good to know.
And Jim, what are we doing in the library?
Does that earn us research points, by the way?
Yes.
I think we were at 7 last we left off, right?
Right.
Yep,
So
and
we
you are currently at 9.
Okay.
I mean, I'd been helping Sione with hers, so do you want me to just do another religion roll to go along with that, or?
Oh, let me see what you're. Because I mean, if you were just giving the help, if you were just giving the aid action here, then that's fine. Because that would give Sione a +1. Unless you wanted to do your own research.
Isn't it a +2 because I'm expert?
Is that how that works?
let me
Oh,
take
that's how it
another
works.
look. Aid. Action. Use your aid action. Attempt a skill check. DC is 15. Critical success is a +2. Ally +1 on a success. -1 on a critical failure. I don't see anything about expert, master, legendary influencing it.
But your religion check was a success. Honestly, I could just count that as like your entire week, and that would also be worth a research point.
DC's 15 for aid.
Correct.
Okay. Your proficiency matters on a critical success,
Right.
but only when master or legendary. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, that's good to.
Okay, so proficiency does factor in, but not an expert.
Not yet, but soon.
So what would be more beneficial for me just to leave that as the aid, or do my own separate check?
Honestly, I think it could only be improved by doing your own check.
Okay. Time to re-annotate all this research to make sure all credit goes to Ra.
I feel like I should have expected. All right, so that's a crit success. All right, so 2 research. That puts us at 11.
Jim is doing his own part in wiping out all the other ancient Osirian deities except Ra. Because none of them did anything he did at all.
History is written by the victors or the ones who have access to the library.
And a weird furry winged guy with a pen and a weird vendetta.
Wouldn't that mean Toph was the writer of history then?
No, he's not furry. He's a bird.
What topic specifically were you researching, or just like what exactly is Jim trying to look for?
Cat cults. Stuff to do with Bast. Because there's all that weird cat stuff happening.
Okay.
And it's surely her
Oh.
fault.
Oh, that's say that have beyond the scope of this adventure.
No.
Nothing to indicate why the cats are doing their thing? Like maybe there's a catnip shortage and they're on strike or something?
Okay, so you don't find any. It's nothing negative about the cats. You know that the ancient Osirian gods have always had some sort of presence in Sothis and the Osirian desert at large. Most of those that are worshipped in Sothis are not explicitly evil or anything. And even though the God words. Even though like the various invasions that have happened over the years, especially the Kalashite invasion, kind of changed the religious landscape a little bit to the point where they were actively outlawing and persecuting the worship of ancient Osirian gods at the time. That is definitely not the case now, and you can always see like iconography, small bits of worship in regular Sothan cult, including worship of Bastet. Although a lot of the homes in Sothis, there are a lot of cats, don't necessarily have as much of her influence. You definitely see more of Bess than Bastet. You're very much a Ra person, but it's not like you've never heard of some of the other things that some of the other gods get up to, especially Bess, who is somewhat of an anomaly among the ancient Osirian gods, specifically because he is not related to the other gods in the way that they are to each other. One of the more popular rumors is that Bass had a pet.
Cat baby?
It was definitely a cat.
You know, that cat that hangs out in front of the sand-swept halls. He's a bit of an oddity.
Is he the Serpent King?
No, Bastet says kill snakes.
But wouldn't surprise me if one of her creations still lived in the city. I think going down this line of searching for the cats is not a bad one. There's clearly something going on here.
This is what I get. So, all right, let's switch over a bit to Nassim.
One quick point. It seems like today your microphone is cutting out a little bit too soon at the end of sentences.
You know, it's been
Maybe-
doing that a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's just, I sometimes I'm unsure if a sentence has finished. But just so you know, in case you know what to do with it. If not, then we will cope with it.
I think it's just the position of my mic. I recently
Yeah.
cleaned and rearranged things, so
I have the greatest respect for audio engineers and will never be one.
I need to borrow some of.
What's your microphone? Real Tech Audio.
Oh no! No,
I got that one.
I have secondhand trauma. Oof.
No, but that's where my sound and video or voice are coming from. It must be it.
Yes, that's my $300 microphone I bought. That's definitely it.
You mean it's not the Scarlett Solo that is currently connected to your audio interface? No, I've never heard of it. But it sits on your desk, sir. Yeah, but do I need to click that one?
Only my parents can get away with it because they're over 60.
See, I
So,
still remember
Miss-
having an easier time
Yeah.
teaching my grandparents stuff on the computer than my own parents.
Ooh, that's
Oh, this is a real conversation you had with someone, Bramble? That's hilarious.
You thought I was making it up? I spent 40 minutes with this man figuring out that it was his laptop integrated microphone and not the $300 microphone he was talking into when one of his Patreon people yelled at him and basically told him he was talking into a fucking toaster. And that they
This
were...
person has a Patreon?
This person has a Patreon!
How does... Never mind.
you can't make this stuff up.
It is
Oh,
funny.
God.
But oh
Shall
boy.
I show you the map guy?
No, at this point I trust you. Actually, now I'm curious. What did the map guy do?
I will show you because we made a whole short about it. Go ahead, Iron. I won't interrupt you.
Sorry, sorry.
No,
We
it's
got
okay.
On a tangent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a funny tangent, but still. Nassim,
Yes.
what are
Yeah.
we doing this week?
I think Nassim will continue not going anywhere near the university because, my god, the guy is annoying. And this week, instead of just minding his own business and doing a little bit of alchemy on the side, he's going to look into the cat situation in the city. Like, what's going on? Is it some kind of illness thing? Can he help any authority or anybody who wants to do some prevention or cure or whatever? Is there any way to help out with the feral cat situation, especially with the stay away from them situation?
Okay.
Jim will run and hide if you approach him with a pair of fake cat ears to get him to infiltrate the cat meetings.
Absolutely not. Nassim will take a very solid distance unless somebody else handles cats.
Okay, so, you have any preferences for what kind of role you'd like to use?
I mean, Nassim would probably take a veterinarian kind of approach, so probably medical, which is crafting for him, to maybe do some tests. Otherwise, he could also try to figure out if there is any occult stuff or arcana stuff going on. Whatever you think is fitting best.
You can always whip up a big batch of catnip to draw out the cats.
Damn, that's a good idea.
Oh yes.
I hate that that's a good idea. You can give me a if you like to take a more veterinary approach, you can give me a medicine or a crafting check.
Yeah, so a medicine as a crafting check I will take, absolutely. Shall it be blind or?
Yes, blind.
Absolutely. Goggles.
I like the idea of an alchemist who is a veterinarian. That's actually, you could make a fun character out of that.
I mean, the difference between me and a cat is lesser than the difference between me and probably some other creatures, like, those moving trees. And I can still heal moving trees, I think.
Okay, so that is a critical failure, unless you would like to use a hero.
That's funny.
It would be extremely funny to get extremely fucked up by cats for a day, but would Nassim be able to, do something else for the rest of the week?
No, it's your week-long research.
Yeah, that is your
Okay.
whole week, sir. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's not.
Okay. That is a success. So, you, it doesn't take especially long if you know where to look. And, the venture captain of the Sandswept Hall, also being an alchemist, is able to put you in contact with other local apothecaries who are also looking into the outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
So between your questions and the answers you get and what Bu Yi has been hearing from the merchants of the city from performing at the bazaar, you come away with some of the cats have been exhibiting extremely aggressive behavior, and people have been bitten or scratched by these aggressive cats, which in turn has been making people display symptoms of heightened aggression.
Is it just rabies?
Oh no. It's It's a little bit worse.
More foaming at the mouth.
So you have. Well, your success puts this at 4. Okay. So you, after like looking at the research that apothecaries in the city have been doing, you kind of recognize this, and with your background in occultism, you kind of recognize this as a slightly weaker but more controlled version of lycanthropy that's spreading.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
It hasn't caused a physical transformation, but the blind aggression is extremely similar.
Feral cats turning into were-creatures. I love it.
Oh god, are they becoming were-humans?
No, they're human. They're cat.
Now,
Yeah, they're
How's
cats
the
turning into
moon
humans.
looking?
Were-humans.
Were-humans.
how's the moon looking at the moment?
That is an excellent question. Look here.
Yeah, if it's lycanthropy, and if that's still connected to the moon in the current book.
I'm gonna remember which calendar. I know it's not a full moon. Oh.
Yeah, where can we go to bring the calendar back up? Because it pops up when we join, but...
Oh wait, I lied. Oh wait, no. I haven't been advancing the calendar. It's behind by 3 weeks.
I think you can find the calendar if you click on the journal notes on the side and then the SC one.
Ah, there
Yep,
it is.
that's the
correct
one.
Yeah.
I was looking through like the menu ones, like chat and combat tracker and actors.
Oh no, it's Lama Shan. Is this also connected with the god?
Well, the months are named after the god.
Oh no. It is all connected.
So as you make that observation, it doesn't really take a whole lot to like find a calendar or, look around. There's a full moon next week.
That is concerning. We should maybe do... I have no idea what to do in this situation. Like...
I don't know. An entire city of werecats seems like a fantastic time to me.
Yeah, it does seem like a fantastic time for a curfew.
You might think it's great until they decide to use you as a scratching post.
Are you absolutely certain they're lycanthropes? I didn't think animals could be afflicted with lycanthropy.
It's not...
Oh no, it's the people that are being infected by the cats that are turning into werecats. Maybe.
What the cats are having isn't lycanthropy per se. It's connected somehow. It's similar. Maybe it's not the moon phases, but the sun phases or something.
Well, we can't
There are
exactly.
limits to veterinary medicine.
Well, we can't exactly ask a druid out in the middle of the desert.
Aren't there like fire druids? Or not tree druids?
Sand druid?
There are desert druids.
Yeah, cactis are plants too, or there's wilderness out here.
They're usually busy murdering wood kineticists trying to add too many trees to the desert.
Yeah, I also heard this kind of impacting the local environment can have bad long-term effects on the water cycle.
Yes, we can't have too much water in the desert, therefore people would start moving away from major settlements and we would lose money in here and Sothis.
Okay.
All right.
It's actually funny. You could have an entire campaign with druids trying to put water in places it doesn't belong, trying to disrupt ecosystems and the status quo of civilizations and get people to move all over the place.
Yeah, Friendly was going to play in this campaign. He said he wanted to play a druid that was going to bring water to the desert. I remember that.
When I tried to run this before with a different group, one of the characters was a Leshy who was doing the exact same thing.
I don't know if
Terraforming.
you've read Shaik's backstory or not. There, Iron.
Oh no! Were they gonna make the flaming tree and kill everyone?
Thankfully, that
Now
tree
I'm-
doesn't actually do that.
Now I'm scared.
Friendly's character in Fist of the Ruby Phoenix was a Leshy druid, and he did many terrible things.
Everyone did many terrible things.
Shh, he was the worst.
But as interesting as this cat thing is, I don't think we have enough information to go on. I don't think cats are turning people into lycanthropes. I don't think people are turning people into cats. We need more substance.
I honestly think we shouldn't be in town in the next week. Like,
That's
Is this
going.
just like a really bad case of rabies?
yeah, I mean, it's a really bad case of rabies, super
I mean,
rabies, probably.
Transmitted by animals, making people really aggressive.
And maybe even into animals, but that's not sure. I could be wrong on that.
To respond to your first comment, we are not allowed to leave the city. We are under quarantine.
Yeah, but, you know, if the city falls under the wrath of hordes of lycanthrope cats, I'm more or less not concerned with... I have antidotes and anti-plagues. We can camp out symptoms in some forgotten tomb outside in the desert.
Or we
Maybe
move into
we
the old
just-
city and barricade the Black Dome.
There you go.
Or that I could also blow a hole in the wall of the city. I don't care. I just don't want to be too near a window.
But before we do anything extreme, do you think you should at least tell the authorities what you found? Maybe they can confirm
Exactly
it?
what I was gonna say.
I mean, I have been working with some people who have done similar research, but sure, I'll share my concerns with whoever wants to listen. But mainly authorities first. Especially with the, curfew suggestion or the barricading in the old city part is a good idea too.
Okay, so this is all end of the week thing. So you guys have this discussion, and Nassim informs the city guard of what's going on. They already have a lot of this information from the apothecaries, but Nassim, working with the Pathfinder, carries a little bit more weight than the information otherwise might have.
They're putting chemicals in the water to turn the freaking cats aggressive or something.
And the guards are going to take some extra steps and precautions in conjunction with the apothecaries to try and get a little bit of extra mitigation on what's going on, try and get ahead of things. So, I've been having people roll that d20 at the beginning of the week, see if the outbreak escalates. Because you made a medicine check last week, you don't have to make that check. The outbreak is not going to progress a stage.
You cut off there. It's not going to progress a stage. What?
The outbreak is not going to progress a stage this week.
Okay.
No check.
I assume you said required, but it got cut off again.
Dang it. Okay. No check required. There we go. My God.
Trust me, sir, I wrestle with it all the time, and I am not an audio engineer. If you stand too close to the mic, it's bad. If you stand too far away from it, it's even worse.
Either you're exploding your levels or you just don't get anything out of the microphone. Just two extremes.
Otherwise, you sound like an ASMR girl and you've got it down your throat.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, so we begin week 4.
Ramble, you're missing the sucking sounds or licking an ear sound. Come
I
on.
just paid $450 for this microphone. It is not going in any part of me.
No, nobody's missing that. That's
those.
that's not a thing.
Adding
That is
those
missing.
sounds are how I'm gonna jump through the screen and throttle you.
I don't even know why people would go to Twitch to watch that. And there was one lady who had a double microphone with it on, and I'm going what the hell?
ASMR content helps some people relax. I get that.
That's not relaxing.
That's for some people. I'm part of the subsect that becomes, unreasonably angry for it. It makes me rage. It's like the people that what's the thing that tastes like soap to them? Cilantro.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like the
If you
people
don't
who it tastes like soap to. ASMR makes me angry.
If you don't like hearing people chew, you definitely won't like ASMR.
Oh, I murder people who chew with their mouth open. I will. I have thrown things at people.
Alright, so, week 4. The moon is full.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Is that cat still here at the Pathfinder Society? Did it turn into a werecat? Did it turn into a person?
You haven't seen it for a week.
Okay. There's some credibility to what the rat was saying.
The rat.
You do realize he has a name, Sione.
Let the human talk. It is cute.
No. We need a distinction. We have 2 of them. Sione is the toasted human, because she does not know how to travel in the desert.
That is a good thingy you...
I don't think Bouyi knows how to travel in the desert either. Had I not come across her with Gregory, she probably would have been dead in the sand.
I mean, she's at least dressed better for it.
She adapted quickly to the life here in Sothis.
Oh, hello, Sebastian.
Right. So currently we are at stage 2 of the outbreak. How bad can it get? Who can say?
How many weeks of research do we have?
I hope it's not like 35 RP we need to get to.
No.
It's
It is
see how
not
many
that
we can
serious.
get until the outbreak happens.
If we have to put a 4th cube on the city, it will spread to the neighboring cities.
No. Yeah, it's not that serious. It's right. What are we doing?
I must return to the library to be with my people.
Okay, let's start with Sione at the library this time. We are still researching the ritual.
It seems important.
It does seem. Okay. How many research points do you guys? 12?
11.
11.
I missed.
Because Jim crit.
Yes. All right. We start up again. All right. Go ahead and give me an Arcana or Occultism
I have.
line.
Yep.
Oh, you already did. Okay.
Yep.
Move this out of the. Huh. We're doing that thing where we have too many different things open again. Yeah.
Just have 6 monitors.
If I'm... Okay. That is a success. All right. Have a thing to. No, the library is not on fire.
Yet. There are Pathfinders nearby.
All right. Okay, so you spend the week researching this ritual, and by now you kind of know its general purpose. As you're kind of looking through the minutia of the practices involved in this ritual,
Mm-hmm.
you come across pieces of its history where it's been attempted before.
Oh, okay. How did that go? What were the historical what were the dates and stuff? Like what happened at the same time? Maybe this is a good thing.
The most recent example that you can find is a historical record of a mining town out towards the west, further past the Sphinx Basin. It was a pretty prosperous kind of a mining colony almost, until it disappeared almost overnight.
From the ritual?
The text heavily implies that that's what happened because there was a lot of very similar iconography and symbolism that is used in this ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Going back further, the attempts at this ritual have always been disaster.
Oh. Sione's just going to close the book and then just stare off into space for a moment.
It heavily implies that no matter how this ritual is performed, there is always more than one victim.
Victim?
One victim?
There's always more than one.
More than one what?
More than one victim.
Victim.
Okay,
Vic-
you cut off. That's why we...
Oh, my bad. I said more than one and I stopped.
For
There's
dramatic...
always... No, that was just an assumption on my part. That was my fault.
No, that's...
But yeah.
I thought it was for dramatic effect.
No, but yes, there is always more than one victim in this ritual.
Oh, so there are secondary casters. I found out something new, guys.
Sione, do you think your little book there has enough information that I could use it to navigate us through the desert to find this little mining town?
All I know is its name and where it was through the Sphinx Basin to the south. It's gone now.
Just because it's covered by sand does not mean it's gone.
Doesn't that what it usually means?
We can dig. There's lots of things that can be found in the desert.
I don't think we're going anywhere until the travel ban is lifted.
Who would like to go next?
Jim is going to spend this week trying to help with the outbreak.
Okay, how would you like to help?
Medicine.
Right, go ahead and give me a and medicine.
Jim has magic hands.
Oh, okay. Wait, what is magic hands?
He's saying he has magic hands.
Oh. I thought that was an actual feature.
I have
It
magic
is
hands.
it is an actual feature.
No,
It's more
he's
of the
like,
treat
he's
wounds
like
part,
Magic
but-
Mike. That's what it is.
But between that and healing hands, Jim has magic hands.
Nat-
Is Jim also a massage therapist?
Yes.
Perfect. He just kneads on people's backs making biscuits.
Yep. And he
Go
has
ahead
6
and-
feet.
Go ahead and give me that blind medicine check, but with a +2 circumstance. since we are using actual resources, things that we have.
Also, Jim is an acupuncturist. It's why he has the spell needle darts.
All coming together.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So that's a crit.
Jim is on a roll.
So you are spending the week. Are you taking a more veterinary approach here, or are you looking for like infected individuals? What are we doing?
Helping the people that are infected and potentially dying or harming others or whatever.
Okay, so you spend the week treating as many of the infected people that come through the local infirmary as possible. And a lot of it is like injuries from stuff that's like almost like bar brawls. You've definitely heard of a few altercations happening in the bazaar, which in and of itself isn't 100% unusual, but it's been a little more out of control lately. Definitely because of this out. You use your magical healing hands to alleviate a lot of the problem, and it eases a lot of the pressure that these facilities were under. Another thing. Because I think I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that's what okay. With a crit success, as you're examining these patients, helping them to get over this illness, and it definitely seems like something that is curable. But you notice that as much as it seems biological, there does seem to be something magical to it. It almost seems as if it's as much a curse as it is a disease. And whatever it is between this and Nassim's efforts in the week prior, it's definitely something that's alchemical in nature that's being passed to people.
But also has a supernatural component, hence the curse-like effect.
Yes. So whatever it is 100% manufactured.
Well, if it is manufactured, that means the cure is also going to be manufactured, right? We just
It's
need
possible, yes.
We just need a sample of what they're being given. Or know how they're being given it.
Well, just to put all the information that you have in context, people aren't being given anything directly. They're being infected by cats. the cats are being given something. Because Sione has talked to people, Buyi has talked to people who have witnessed somebody feeding the cats at night.
It still doesn't sound unusual, though. It's not like we can just go around the entire city finding out who's feeding the cats.
Is this true?
I'm sure there are
I mean-
hundreds of people feeding the cats.
I mean, last week I have sometimes been feeding them, but it was mostly to get them, eating stuff. That's, laced with something that could help me find out more. But I didn't give them anything before, so it's not me.
The only alternative is to capture one, force it to retch, and then examine it. One that you know is infected.
I mean, if it has already been infecting people by biting or scratching, it's probably long gone from their stomach. We should probably rather try to catch the one that isn't ill yet, because, it didn't went through their stomach yet, if they have been fed stuff. But that increases our, or it decreases our chance to get one that has been fed recently with that stuff.
Sione is trying to follow what you're saying, and you get like all the little diagrams and whatnot circulating around her head. Find cats?
You know what, but to a degree, yes, but also no. It's probably more healthy to stay away from cats if it's not necessary to find stuff out directly. I personally think a good endeavor for this week is building some, safe rooms across the city where people can go to if aggressive stuff happens and can lock it from the inside. Because Jim is probably already taking care of prevention for this week, so some places, in case stuff gets wrong across the city, some alleyways reinforced with some boards and locked from the inside, or old unused shop that can be barricaded easily as a safe room in case stuff goes down and not hurt.
We know where one of those is. By the unwinking eye. Unblinking eye. Unfettered eye. As Sione goes through all the adjectives trying to remember exactly what the bodega was called.
Yeah, that could be a start over there.
Right, at the unblemished eye.
The unwashed eye?
The hearing eye, I think. But
just so we're clear, what exactly is Nassim doing?
if possible, and if not completely out of scope, trying to establish a handful of publicly accessible panic rooms in case this end of this week indeed ends in lycanthrope apocalypse. Because, aggressive people should probably not be attacked by commoners, but they should probably run and hide to some safe place. And what better way to prevent things from happening than to establish safe places across the city?
Okay.
We are in full pandemic prevention mode here.
Give me a blind perception.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you head out and you scout out a few buildings in the city that is there any are you looking like all over the city or just like in a particular district?
I mean, I'm probably not doing the richer districts because that's gated communities anyway. So probably where's a lot of people and potentially not as good of a security situation anyhow.
So that would probably be either the old city, the Rose Quarter,
Yeah,
or the Canal District.
probably first the old city because there's also a lot of commerce happening there, as far as I remember, and afterwards more the canal district.
Okay. So you find like a couple of locations between the old city and the canal district. Most of that real estate seems to be owned by the city itself. Uh it's a lot of empty but not abandoned, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think for those places, Nassim will probably just try to put some, boards, nails, and hammers near the entrance and put I do not know, like a little symbol near the entrance. Like a chalked, symbol. The hieroglyph for danger. He will probably ask somebody who speaks ancient Assyrian and just put them down. That hieroglyph down and cross it out.
So I
You
have
know,
to ask, um, who is Nassim who does Nassim intend to have pay for this?
I mean, he will probably. He will probably scavenge a little bit of the stuff, but if that is not sufficient, he will also try to sell some potions across the week to, probably for hammers and nails mostly. Boards are easier to, round up.
I think the bigger issue is that even though these buildings are empty, somebody still owns these buildings.
Yeah, I won't fucking tell them.
Oh, that's what we're doing. Okay.
No,
I
why
just
would I
wanted to
tell
be
them
clear.
Yeah, no, I don't tell them that I put nails and hammers and boards into the rooms. Like, that's emergency stuff.
Okay, so we're squatting, basically. Okay.
Well, squatting is if you actively live there. That's just disaster preparedness I'm doing.
That's alright, so with your perception check, I'm gonna say you can only do this kind of doomsday prep thing for one building. So which district is this building?
Probably the old city. If
Okay.
stuff goes down, there's probably most people going through there, and it's probably also pretty well defensible with the whole Scarab situation.
Cool. Are you concealing what you do?
I'm not advertising it, but I'm not hiding it either.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a blind deception.
Yeah. Could this also be a thievery or a stealth?
You can use thievery, yes.
Okay. Because
Okay.
for deception, Nassim's best answer is, I'm working. That won't help.
All right. So you work to kind of. You're not actively concealing what you're doing here, but it's more like the building still looks as empty as it did before, but just kind of in a different way that you know is accessible to you and your purpose. Whether
Very
or not
cool, very
anybody
cool.
else knows, who can say?
If anybody else wants to use it, that's fine too. But we have one place down.
Shaik,
Yes.
what are we up to in week 4?
I would like to start looking for ancient sites that have association with our Zahak character, where he came from, notable battles, etc., etc. And I want to start planning out routes and things on how to get there once the plague here is lifted.
Okay. So this is at the library, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
I will give you the mining town's name along with the directions that I was given from the previous tome.
Jake wants to be ready to travel the minute the plague is lifted, where we can leave the city. Also, just as a secondary question, what are the rich people in the city doing during this shutdown?
Opium.
Give me a DC 18 society check.
DC 18 society check. Yeah, I'm gonna need to roll a nat 20 on that one, baby.
Oh, oof.
I have -1. I am not intelligent at all in any way, shape, or form.
Now, that being an interesting question, can Nassim also have a think about that, or is that a weak activity?
No, that's not a weekly thing.
Yeah, so if possible, I would like to roll for that too.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Eh,
Well, that's 2 failures.
Sione will try.
We don't see the rich people, therefore we don't know what they're doing.
I know exactly where the rich people are. The opium dems. Go, dice roll.
There you go. That's an 18. You did it.
But they're not in the opium den.
No one's in the opium dems. Chaos. Panic.
No, but the rich people have kind of sequestered themselves into their own communities. Honestly, the most people that you see just out and about now are the servant. Some of whom do live in these more affluent districts by necessity, if nothing else. But the nobility and that sort of thing, no, they haven't been out and about in that way in the last month or so.
Now that's incredibly unusual.
You kind of get the sense that they're just trying to like suss out how bad the situation might be. But in a month, it hasn't really escalated in a truly pandemic way.
Hmm.
Thanks in no small part to Nassim and Jim.
Well, I think I'm gonna just go back to my figuring out where we can go.
All right, give me a nature or survival.
Done.
All right, so you are looking at potential sites of Zayhawk's battles that he might have fought somewhere, and you already know of at least one.
Yeah, the uh
Mining
broken
town.
gate.
Yeah, the gate of you know of the gate of bones,
That's right, yeah.
and you know of the silver mine that Sione discovered that I can't find the name of now because reasons. I will get that information for you, but you do know where it is.
Well, I'm happy to continue my research in that line for the rest of the week.
I hate this. I had the name of it. I know what town it's near. This is sorry.
That's
This
okay.
is one of those. This is one of those beyond the scope of the adventure thing because I didn't think that this was going to come up.
No problem. If it's not relevant, then that's okay. We don't need to spend time on it.
Oh, it is. It's near the city of Ito, the largest city in central Osiris. Other things about this city don't have access to because reason. Oh wait, I found it. Haha. All right. So this mining town, it's actually not that far from the Gate of Bones. It's on the other side of the Sphinx Basin to the west. If you'd gone like another day or so west of the Gate of Bones, you probably would have come across it. Yeah. Past the Sphinx Basin, on the map that you have, it's in an area called the the Sahure Wastes in central Osiris. It was originally founded maybe about 80 or so years ago. It mysteriously just vanished off the face of the map a few years after it was founded. But there's definitely like maps of trade routes and stuff that go from Sothis all the way to these mines.
Well, I'm going to keep those in my records just in case we need to travel over there. If it's not incredibly pertinent, then I won't drag us there for no reason. But it is good to know. It's sort of building a timeline of where Sahak was. How long ago was Sahak's reign? Like thousands of years, or?
Oh, thousands of years. At least 10,000.
And he's been called back apparently by this ritual several times.
Or at least attempted to be.
Yes.
I guess they didn't have the crown or the gems, and that's why it didn't work.
This is also a fair assumption.
Oh, you cannot lay on the keyboard, Sebastian. Sorry. Cats.
Oh no, you're it's a theme. So
Bake is going a bit stir crazy. He's not seen his camels in a month. They're trapped on the outside of the city.
I mean, one could always attempt to leave. That is 100% a thing that is possible. So, week 5. It has been a month. You have been stuck inside the city.
This has been a great vacation.
Are you starting to get a little tanned yet?
No.
You need to spend more time outdoors, Sione.
I can't. I can't. Like a serpent, I will shed my skin.
I mean, we could always get Gregory in here and have him pull around a palanquin with you in it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Why don't you just request the guards that your animals be brought in? They're beasts of burden, and they can help with transit. It's a legitimate excuse.
Okay. Week 5. As with the week prior, because somebody did medical things last week, is no flat check for the escalation of the outbreak. Consequences of that to come later. Now, this whole time, it has not been as if Rafik has done nothing. Eventually, he comes back to the Sandswept Lodge to meet with all of you and present the findings that he has made on his own without Shaikh in the room, which he has made significant progress on. And let me get, because this is going to add 2 resources for the last 2 weeks.
Ah, nice. Plus the 4 that we earned last week?
Yes.
Okay.
It's almost like having influence with an NPC should actually have rewards that make things easier.
Yes, instead of punishments.
Honestly, part of this is on me that I probably should have mentioned this. Those 2 weeks that Shaikh spent with Rafik helping, those counted as influence.
Oh, nice. So you were doing double time too, just like with the gather information thing. I like that. I like that a lot about this.
I honestly figured it was easier to do it that way instead of like having like it all be like separated for no reason.
Yeah, that it does make more sense.
Especially if there's other factions to potentially gain influence with, so depending on what you do the downtime to add to one system, it applies to the influence of various groups if they are there.
But like Rafik has a very specific influence reward, and I have added that into the relevant roles for Arcana and occultism checks. Let's see. This is why I need to have it all in one document, because I have it in like 3 and it's not organized at all. Okay, that's not the right one. One of these days I'm gonna get this.
Well,
Right, week 5. What?
that is part of what making the module is, getting it organized in a way that it can be readily run.
Yes, and I'm bad at organization.
No, you have to be good.
Those Google Docs where you can create like extra tabs and things really help.
I really should just transfer this into a Google Doc and see if that happens.
Yeah, you've seen me do it. I did that with the player's guide and everything else, and that was really well organized.
Yeah, but you have your stuff together. I am a mess. Huh? Yep, there it is. +2 circumstance bonus to research checks in libraries. Yep. All right. So Rafik comes back to you all, and he has some extra information, specifically about the gate stone that you all have, or rather that he has, that is currently in his office. So he informs you that the gate stone is also part of a ritual. Specifically, it's a ritual that is designed to imprison something or someone. It is extremely difficult to pull off. It requires more than just this gate stone. It requires like entire an entire apparatus built to create this extra dimensional prison. But it also requires a specific location that he does not have the information. He theorizes, though, that it probably has something to do with the location itself is probably of either some historical significance or some magical significance involving ley lines or something. Isn't 100% sure.
Well, I appreciate you looking into this. Do you know where we can find more information, Rafik?
Fortunately, probably not. If university doesn't have any information on, and the restricted section of the library doesn't, I suppose the next best thing would be to ask the government itself, which is probably not the greatest idea.
Well, the good news is... Oh, go ahead.
All I was going to say is getting the government involved is never really useful. It tends to muddy the waters and slow things down.
The good thing is, we do know of a ritual that can be cast now. And it's been used in the past before. So we can accurately track the timeline of the Serpent King even after he died.
Interesting. I thought, I had often wondered what kind of adversary Hezret II would have had to have had in order to employ such a powerful ritual to imprison him.
Is it possible that ally could have been Lamashu?
Or Toph. We did find this in a temple dedicated to them.
Well, there's absolutely nothing good that I can say about the cult of Lamashtu.
But they were referenced when determining the ritual.
from what I've heard, people in the desert have on occasion encountered cultists of Lamashtu. Usually in the form of Kolo warbands, but
Oh, nonsense.
usually-
Kolos are wonderful people. Very, very good.
I would disagree with that. Some of them have been known to specifically tailor their diets to eating cactus. Personal vendetta I have against them.
Rafik just kind of raises an eyebrow at Sione specifically. There are a number of merchants that would probably disagree.
Oh, well, then they're racists. Now, the orcs! Those are the ones you have to look out for.
You have some very specific ideas of the world.
It's from all my
Nonsense.
traveling.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like, you should research that. It's way more interesting.
Yes, well, that's as much information as I have. Have you heard about this, I admit I haven't really been out much in the last month, been rather busy. Apparently this is a thing now? What's happening?
First of all, did you either get bitten or get scratched by a cat?
Not that I'm aware of.
Very good, continue that.
Why?
It's probably got to do something with the cats. Current theory is that they're, I wouldn't say weaponized, but they are a factor in the spread, probably.
Nassim believes that the cats of the city are being turned into lycanthropes, which are in turn affecting the humans of the city to turn them into lycanthropes.
The cats aren't full lycanthropes, that's silly. It's just lycanthrope adjacent and also rabies adjacent. Like the middle ground, you know?
Well, that's terrifying.
Never have had to deal with a werewolf with rabies before? I think that's a usual occurrence, right?
I can't say that I've ever met a werewolf.
Yeah, me neither, honestly.
Although, I'm gonna roll something real quick to see if Rafik remembers a thing. So, he pauses for a second as he's thinking about this, and he says, this reminds me of something that I heard about 3 years ago. There was an incident where a lot of cats in the city were disappearing. it was enough to where people noticed. I don't think anything ever came of it.
What do you mean nothing ever came of it? Did they just reappear one day, or did
Well,
they just stay away? Or
I assumed that the situation kind of resolved itself. A lot of people's pets went missing. There were rumors about foreigners eating cats or something. I'm not. It all seemed really.
I mean, if the cat just disappeared and never reappeared, that's probably pretty irrelevant. But in any other case, I think I'll look into that a little bit more. Thank you.
Oh, sure, no problem. Yeah, I think it was somewhere in the Rose Quarter actually, which is not surprising since there's all kinds of unsettling things that are usually said about the Rose Quarter. But yeah, there was a rash of people's pets just going missing. I don't think they were ever really found.
Okay.
As far as I know, the city guard did investigate, but I don't believe they turned up anything.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely looking into that a bit more.
Okay. Now we are on week.
6.
I miscounted. Yes. The 5 in my notes looked like a 6 for some reason. The 6 in my notes looked like a 5. Week 6. Let us begin with Shaik this time.
Okay. I would like to spend the week trying to find the other gem that's in the city.
Okay. You know where it is.
Yeah, it's in the auction house, I assume.
Yes. So,
Have any auctions been happening in the entire time the shutdown has been going on?
Not if all the rich
This-
people lock themselves up.
there hasn't really been a whole lot of activity in the auction house. Most of them, anyway. The one that, when you had the ability to do so, that you kind of sensed the presence of the other gem. It's an auction house that's a little bit off. It's out of the way, but it's relatively large in comparison to some of the other auction houses. This very large building called the Golden Oasis. And it has been relatively unchanged. Definitely not a lot as much through traffic because, shipments have not been coming in and out in the way they were. But this week, you start to notice that a lot of that traffic is starting to come back again because, again, outbreak isn't escalating that much.
Okay.
So yeah, you definitely know where it is. What would you like to do there?
Gonna break in, kill everybody, and steal it. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. I want to find out when the next auction is happening, so that we may be there and try to apprehend the gem.
All right.
I figure if we're in the city we get the gem, we can do more research on it to figure out what the fuck the curse actually is.
Okay. Uh, eh, you're gonna hate me for this. Give me a blind diplomacy or society.
I can do diplomacy. I have diplomacy because I speak with my plants. Now, the person I'm talking to wouldn't happen to be a cactus, would they?
They are definitely not a cactus.
Okay, no +2 for me.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna make this public.
Ah,
Nice.
So you get to speaking with the guards posted outside the Golden Wing. And they do know that there are a bunch of different artifacts uh, and that sort of thing that have been unearthed like in the last couple of months. But the head auctioneer, a woman by the name of Sadira Navabi, she's been kind of holding on to them, and she's been arranging and sending out invitations for a private auction of these items. That private auction isn't for another maybe month or so, depending on whether or not, you know, people are able to get in and out of the city, because there are a few foreign dignitaries that are being invited to this auction.
Okay.
But they do tell you it's very difficult for somebody without connections to get into this auction.
Now, what if we were to name our super rich patron? Would they, not Rafik, I forget his name, the other guy.
Samir.
Samir. Would we be able to get audience or attendance, I guess?
You mentioned his name, and there's like a hint of recognition. One of the two guards you're speaking to leaves for a second, and they come back and they inform you that councilman does have a standing invitation to the auction.
Well, that's good to know. I thank you both for your time. We may find ourselves at this auction sometime later.
Seems like good, useful information that I will take back to my party, and maybe we need to have a meeting with Samir to see if we can go to this auction.
Okay. Next, Jim.
Not much I can think of to do to help with the auction part. Thinking just keep up the medicine to help.
Okay, go ahead and give me that.
Should I include that circumstance modifier from previously?
Yes. Okay. So, you spend another week of treating people who have been afflicted by the outbreak. There's significantly less of them now. Um, it's definitely not as bad as it was in the week before. To the point where there's like a couple of days towards the end of the week where you have no patience. Word. Eventually, that gives you and the people that you're working with a lot of free time to discuss possible theories on where this outbreak could have started, what kind of equipment or materials might be necessary to manufacture something that could actually cause this in people. And the people that you're working with are all very reputable apothecary and uh, uh, alchemists, people that are very much in the public eye. So they start talking a lot about the kind of people that aren't here. And a name continuously comes up. A man by the name of Jasiri. He was a prominent alchemist in the community about 3 or 4 years ago, and then just disappeared off the face of the earth. A lot of rumors spread about why he just disappeared, because his business was actually pretty prominent. He was pretty well known for being extremely busy and altruistic, to the point of damn near bankrupting himself. And then his business just kind of started going under from neglect, and people, as people are talking about him, they mentioned that it's probably why his wife left him,
Dear
that
God.
sort of.
This poor man.
There's even like a little hint of a rumor that like his research and his medical knowledge started to stray into more occult territory.
Well, I'll definitely make sure to tell the others about this guy so we can potentially look into him next if we have time.
Why did no one help this man when he was so altruistic? The moment he needed help, people abandoned him?
It's unclear as to whether or not he even asked.
You don't have to ask for people to help you. They should do so intrinsically, like he did for them. Holy hell!
You should always grab somebody who is in a wheelchair, push handles, and push him around.
Exactly! That's what they want!
For the benefit of the stream, don't. For the love of God.
Don't do anything Sione says, ever!
Don't swim in sand, don't just grab people in wheelchairs.
The ancient rune lords knew that the disabled needed help at all times. That's why telekinesis was invented.
This advice has been brought to you by Bad Advice Bramble.
It's Sione.
Alright, so if that is the information you get with your success on your medicine check. Sione, what are we doing?
I feel really bad for this man now. But I have to go back to the library and find out if there's anything that is alchemical in nature or magical in nature that can be used and fed to animals to incite some sort of plague, disease, or whatever it is that's actually happening that Asim and Jim have been treating the last couple of weeks and whatnot, because it seems like we're familiar enough with it now that it's either to the point it's contained or to the point where we can actually push back. So I've got to find something on my side of things now.
Okay. What role will you be using for this?
I only have Arcana, Intimidation, Diplomacy, and Sophis lore.
Alright, go ahead and give me an Arcana check with a +2 circumstance.
Okay. +2. Add blind.
Okay. So you are looking through alchemical research, trying to find out what could possibly confer anything even remotely similar to lycanthropy.
Mm-hmm.
And you come across this theory that let me back up. You start delving into the effects of transmutation. And the working theory is that you can use a chemical reagent and pass it through some manner of beast that can in turn transfer some of that beast's properties into a humanoid creature. It's not exactly lycanthropy. It's kind of a quick and dirty version.
I know of something like this. I know a guy who does stuff like this. Isn't that just a bestial elixir?
You know what? It is extremely similar.
Oh, okay.
But that's not infectious.
Yeah. That's what's confusing. So the beasts are being used as catalysts to produce an alchemical effect that when they do scrape or bite someone, they're under the similar effects of a bestial elixir. That's about what I got out of it.
Yes.
I shall return to the group and tell them.
And last, we have Nassim.
1 second. I'm writing down the last things because I have some theories too.
Okay.
Yeah, pseudo-lycanthropy will have to do as a quick hand for that. Yes, I have debated with myself to whether to investigate what the poor sort has all been about, the one that they all left alone. But I think my original plan, with trying to find out what happened 3 years ago with the major pet disappearance, that takes precedence. So Nassim will he will scrounge up information anywhere, be it partly in the library, partly trying to ask officials who were in charge back then, trying to ask around in the Rose Quarter what the deal was with the pet disappearance.
Okay. Believe that would be a other information. So diplomacy or society?
I'll take a society any day of the week over diplomacy. Have you heard Nassim talk to people?
Okay. So you ask, you've probably been, you at least at this point have some sort of rapport with the city guard after the week you spent helping mitigate the outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
So you go and you ask about these missing cats from 3 years ago. And one of the guards, he tells you that there was an investigation into a lot of cats disappearing in the Rose Quarter specifically,
Mm-hmm.
which was immediately unusual because it was all in the same place. An investigation was launched into all the people who lived in the Rose Quarter at the time.
All of them?
It was over like several weeks.
Holy shit, but it's still
That's
probably
still a lot of
hundreds of
people.
people. Yeah.
Yes. Well, not all the people individually,
Okay,
but
thank God.
it's more of a, hey, this person is a person of interest. We should probably talk to them and see if they know anything or if they've seen anything.
So casting a wide net because no information was available. Got it.
Exactly. They still didn't get a whole lot. It was not. The investigation basically confirmed that yes, this is a thing that's happening, but no one saw anything of enough significance to really do anything about it.
Did some of the cats return from that, or?
No one who reported missing any pets ever recovered.
Uh-oh.
If you have any lists of people who reported their pet missing from way back then, can I access them? Is that even allowed, or is that already archived as in put into the big bin of fire?
Well, the guard kind of looks at you, and he's basically like, I'm not sure why you would want to investigate this kind of thing, but I mean, it's public record at this point, and
Yeah.
so he will absolutely go and get those records for you.
Thank you very much. It's just, it's cats again, and, you know, it's probably, I don't know, it's very impractical to do it with a 3-year delay, but wizards are weird, if it's a wizard.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
You know, there's a plague happening.
Oh no,
and the plague-
above table, that was me asking what you said.
Oh. What? Who did what? What? I'm confused.
No, I didn't hear what you said the first time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. So, Nassim will probably just make a passing comment. Yeah, that he's investigating it all because some weird people, especially wizard kind, they have pretty weird timetables to do stuff. Even if it's impractical to use cats with a 3-year delay as a plague spreader, some people are weird like that. Or maybe it was a beta test for it. Who knows?
So he gets you a list of names of people who reported pets missing, and the list isn't particularly well. No, it is kind of long. There's 20 people.
Then probably also some strays involved in all of that, and that's a noticeable disappearance. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
He says, "Yep, sure, no problem." So, on your next attempt to gather information, this list will give you a +2 circumstance.
Okay, wonderful.
All right. So, come to the end of the week. You guys are sharing your information.
If we talk to the head honcho man, we might be able to get an invitation to this auction. I believe it's a private auction, and our gem may be there. Not you, gem, but the gem we need for the crown.
Well, with rich people, they need attendants. We could just go as servants. Plus,
Or bodyguards.
well, they might need experts with them to authenticate what's being sold. We could be their experts, too.
I think we need to have a discussion with our real sponsor. Well, Rafiq's sponsor.
So, as the last night of this week progresses, you get a visit from Venture Captain Ballantyre. And he asks for sort of an update on what you guys have been up to for the last month.
Ah, yes. I've researched the nature of the curse that was afflicting our companion, whom the cleric has abolished, I think. And then I researched the nature of the ritual associated with the curse, found out that nothing but death and destruction comes out to all who perform it, and then the cats started a pandemic.
Yeah, that about covers it.
Also,
Yes.
I have been planning to harass people about their lost pets from 3 years ago.
Yes, well, a lot was happening 3 years ago. But
If you stole the cats from the Rose District, please tell me, because this might be a big red herring then.
he just kind of laughs. He says, "No, I was busy with something else 3." But concerning the cats and the infections that have been happening, apparently somebody has been doing some very good behind the scenes work. I've heard that they're supposed to be lifting the quarantine in a few days.
Oh, that's perfect. You can check on your camels now.
Wonderful.
I just hope that this isn't a thing like when you're very ill, that you get better for one day right before you die.
Well, the source of this thing is still being investigated now that it's very public knowledge among the guards that this was a man-made occurrence.
Well, is there anything you need help with? We've been gone for quite a while.
He looks thoughtful for a moment, and like he's actually considering it. Well, person, I would love to know what the source of this outbreak is. Especially since, as Pathfinders, most of us are already somewhat involved. It certainly couldn't hurt the Lodge's reputation. Outside of that, I don't have anything mission specific. However, if you have anything that I can do for you,
Would it be possible to get Pathfinders invited to an auction house in order to authenticate some of the things that are being sold by the elite?
is it possible? Absolutely. Depends on the auction, I think.
It's directly related to our research. We believe one of the gems to be cursed with the same curse that affected our companion.
Ah, okay. That's concerning.
We have proof, too. And we can have that proof corroborated with an authority within the historical studies.
Plus, I think I will know when I see it. Zahak did give me pretty vivid visions of all three of the gems.
I see. So, alright, do you know what auction house this this artifact is housed in?
Yes. The Aspis Consortium, along with Madame What's-Her-Face.
You see his expression go blank for a second. Oh. Well, that's something. That makes this a little bit more difficult.
We could potentially show the city that the Aspis Consortium is knowingly selling cursed items.
Well, in order to sell any items specifically, you have to, well, permission is strongly encouraged. However, I will say that it's an open secret that if you can pay the fines, in the end, it's not really something that people are going to get upset over. And I believe that the Aspis Consortium's pockets are deep enough to cover the fine. Their situation isn't quite as monetarily dire as ours. It's highly likely that they have a half dozen or more council members on their side in this endeavor.
We have one council member on our side.
Ah, right, Councilman Kushibi. Yes. Wait, how is he relevant?
He's the one who's funding our expeditions and the historical expert, of which we have the setting and one of the gems. This gem belongs to that setting, and the curse directly related.
Well, that does sound like something he might be interested in. I'm sure I could arrange him if necessary.
I think the councilman would appreciate knowing more about this artifact, and the more we can bring it back together, the more information we can glean. And we wouldn't want it to fall into someone else's hands. That would be particularly bad.
I agree. So I will reach out to the councilman in the morning. And I will see when he's available. You all didn't plan on going anywhere, did you?
Yes.
We would like to, yes.
Oh, where were you planning on going?
We were.
Well, yeah.
I mean, not during the quarantine, at least. Not unless it's extremely necessary.
Oh,
But
well, the quarantine is
yeah,
going to be up in a day or two at the most.
yeah, exactly. So we won't be breaking that. Don't worry.
Oh, that's fine. I was just wondering what leads you had that had you leaving the city again.
There is a silver mine to the south, near the Sphinx Basin. It's a completely destroyed town now, but that was a site of where the ritual took place, without the crown or any of the gems, for our warlord. There may be a clue there that we can find.
Quick roll. There it is. Okay. So he thinks about that for a second and he says, "Oh, I know the one. That was before my time. Uh, but yes, there was a silver mine way out west. Seemed like it was a pretty prominent trade route from here out into the central desert until I think it only lasted like 2 or 3 years. I wasn't aware that it was related to this.
That is what my research has determined. Thanks to our patron, we were able to search within the restricted parts of the library.
I see. Well, um, while it's not an official Pathfinder mission, uh, I don't suppose I have any reason to tell you not to do it. Seems like a worthwhile endeavor. As usual, if you guys need anything from me, feel free to ask.
You seen that cat come around here? The one that sits out in the front?
Not so much lately. Last I saw of him was a few days ago, perhaps, but he just kind of showed up, looked around, and left. Seems a little bit more on edge than usual.
Hmm. Thank you.
Right. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to do to close out this week?
Nope.
Okay.
Get some better clothes so that when we meet the man, he doesn't think of us as just a bunch of disheveled adventurers.
Clothing purchases are possible, yes. All right, so with that, so we are at our time. It is 2 o'clock exactly. And I think this is a safe place to end it because with the outbreak being pretty well contained and not quite neutralized, but its effects have been severely diminished over the last few weeks, there is something else that's going to happen on this day in particular.
A festival?
Mhm.
Yes, a festival. No, not a.
There will be another outbreak, but even bigger one because the restrictions were lifted too early.
No, that's not it.
That's not possible. Not based in reality enough.
So, how did we do?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of actiony things that happened, which I was
Probably
concerned about.
could add something like a disturbance in the city or something like that if you wanted. Because we've done what, little over half a session last time of research and a whole session this time of research.
You could add afflicted people who are out of control in like the marketplace and stuff.
Yeah, that could also probably be worked with the restriction of, not killing them, hopefully.
Yeah, non-lethal.
Like some kind of more actiony crowd control, even if it's not a straight up combat. Or if they wanted, a strategic combat should be possible. But no, how would I design that even? Forget what I said.
Oh no!
Apart from the
I do
non-lethal
believe
stuff.
you. No, I do believe you are onto something.
I am lacking all the words to explain it though.
I have a vague idea of how I would pull that off.
You could just do like a victory point subsystem to like contain the outbreak.
Do I want more subsystems on top of the research that you guys were already doing and the
More
investigation
subsystems.
into the cats?
Well, maybe not, but
See, that's what I was afraid of. I was like, yeah, we're not. I know that I can do something, but I don't think it should be that.
if you broke it up into different parts of the chapter and there was some things happening in between, you could contain the outbreak type of subsystem with like a couple victory points, but having it stacked on top of each other is probably not a good idea. That feels too much like a curtain call where we had subsystem on subsystem on subsystem. And you don't want that.
I think I have found the words to explain what I meant, but it will sound weird.
Go for it.
The kaiju fight from Fist of Ruby Phoenix.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, where everything
Yeah.
is like a flat check at the same time you're doing something.
Yeah, and also a little bit of combat mixed in, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Like a little bit of that, a little bit of overall interacting with the city as a whole. so to speak.
Okay. I think I could make that work.
I mean, I think Bramble has at least some notes on it too, but I think for crowd control stuff, it might be workable.
Depends on how much you, because we
Yeah.
didn't really see much of the outbreak, right? If there is not that much, then
That's true.
maybe don't. But if it's like widespread and you're trying to contain things,
Or do it by quarters, because you have all these different sections of the city. Maybe it's worse in different sections. And when you get it under control, maybe it's only under control in that quarter.
That is a lot to manage with how many districts there are in the city.
Yeah.
Now, hear me out. Kingmaker rules to build a society within the city.
Oh, no. No.
No, just kidding.
I one day want to either run or play Kingmaker, but that is that's a beast.
Project management.
Paying for Kingmaker was an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, what was the module, like $80?
140.
Yeah, I mean, I bought it because I backed the Kickstarter, but because Kingmaker, the CRPG, was one of my favorite games I've ever played.
Oh, yes. And the CRPG, the Russians redid the systems to make it better. Like, they completely redid the game. The same with Wrath of the Righteous. If you play Wrath of the Righteous in Pathfinder 1st Edition, you're going to find out that the CRPG is way better.
Oh, yeah.
Wrath of the Righteous was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think what... I'm going to have to think on this, but my idea is if I cluster sections of the city, instead of like having like this many districts,
Do it based on the major roadways. There's like 4 distinct quarters here.
exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. So if I do it that way, the only thing I'm concerned about there is if doing it that way would take away from research being done.
Well, you could break it up with like 2 weeks of research. The outbreak gets to a point where it needs to be contained. You go on a little quest spree, contain the section, think you've done all of it, but you haven't, and the outbreak spreads to 2 more or 3 more quarters. Maybe you don't include all of them. Maybe it doesn't get to one of the areas. But you could treat it like a real-life plague, just slowly spreading from its origin point. People not taking it seriously enough at first, and then it begins to quickly multiply. You're basically playing a game of like whack-a-mole.
And the politicians can make things worse.
Oh, because you know they will.
Yeah, it's just like, there is no pandemic.
Because like that's what the flat check was for, to see if there was an escalation. And the way that I wrote the stages, there are riots that happen if the outbreak gets to a certain stage, and like severe political unrest. I didn't write it with encounters in mind, however. I think I should.
Now,
At least
On that-
one combat encounter.
now on the escalation thing itself, I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of if medical skill is succeeded in the week. There is no flat chat at all, because that I feel like you're cutting out that content entirely for a group that's somewhat concerned about looking at things from a medical side.
You can always make it an easier flat check if medical treatment has been
Yeah.
done. Therefore, like even if it's a DC 5, there's a chance something happens.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I think that is a better.
Right?
You could
can
also
maybe even have it be like, I don't know what your standard of the flat check is, but if the standard was 10, you pass you do some medical treatment, it's a 5. If at least if you crit fail the medical treatment, now it's a 15. You made things worse.
Yeah. Or something along the line, if the group is not having an escalation in like 2 weeks, the people stop taking it seriously, and you give the GM the chance, if they want to experience some more riot or escalation, to say, yeah, now the DC is harder because people just don't care anymore. They think it's all a big joke. Like, you can play around with the DC a little bit, I think, and it could give some directorial abilities to the GM.
Okay.
Or you can make an event happen when we reach a research threshold.
Or that, yeah.
So I kind of did that because the way that I wrote it in its current iteration is that if there's enough successful medicine checks, the outbreak stops and an event happens because it's noticed.
Yeah, that makes sense. The person who's spreading the plague or persons would be like, hey, why isn't this working? And then they can go out and look for the players.
Yeah.
And they know we're all Pathfinders, so eventually they will make their way to the lodge.
Yeah, so that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Ah.
So, yeah, we just find a package at the lodge one day, and the venture captain says, like, oh, this delivery person left this gift for you. I think it's from your patron. And we go like, oh, that's so nice of them. And we open it up, and then we explode.
Hold on. Pipe bombs are Nassim style. That's plagiarism. That's illegal.
All right, so I have a lot of very good feedback notes. Thank you all for that.
No one here is
Yeah.
shy about giving feedback. I know that.
Which I greatly appreciate.
But still, don't forget about it has been fun.
Yes.
Just because we have notes, it's good fun.
Oh, yeah.
I am also glad that you guys have been having fun.
Yeah, I need to find a program where I can make a conspiracy board because Nassim is getting conspiracy brained.
I'm sorry, Google Jamboards is no longer active.
I could just open Shadows of Doubt on my computer somewhere and use the case board from that game. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys, thank you very much for the game, Iron, and thank you guys for helping to test.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you all for joining, and I'm glad you enjoyed yourselves.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Next time. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying have a wonderful week.
You too, sir. Next time, Pathfinders get attacked directly.
Yes, because that's never happened at this lodge before.
No.